Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another edition of Rich Answers, where every Monday I answer questions from past podcast guests, typically 3 to 5 questions, either about myself, questions they want to know about me, or just thoughts on the world and life itself. Last week we had Mehya Mansoor from Istanbul. This week we have Mehya Mansoor from Istanbul. They are scientists, material engineers, gemologists, you name it. They can do it. They are fantastic individuals. I'm just so impressed by them. And Mehya provided some fantastic questions for us to answer today. We are recording this on the farm in Wisconsin, so we got this beautiful background. It is so peaceful. Can you guys hear the birds? The wind? It's so relaxing. You know, I come back here in the summer and it's just like, do I really want to go back to Chicago right away? But sometimes I do, because I can't upload the files. The internet's too slow out here, so I have to go back to Chicago. I do want to say, so I missed the third question that Maryam asked me last week. I try to memorize them as best I can, but I forgot it, so I made one up. She asked, just to start this off by answering Maryam's final question, she asked, what advice would you give your younger self? Great question. So I had some more time to think about this since it's been an extra week. Again, thank you for the questions. That was a lot of fun. We recorded last week at the Lincoln Park, outside the zoo and conservatory. Beautiful. I would say the advice I would give my younger self is, you're right. You're right. And this is what I say to young people, is you probably have this feeling inside you, what you want to do about your life and with your life, and dreams you have, and you pretty much know, right? It's whether or not you have the courage to pursue that. So I would say to my younger self, you're right, man. Keep doing it. And I would also say this: your answers are not on the internet. They are not on the internet. They are inside you. You've had them inside yourself the whole time. You just have to reveal them. I will say this too. I'm curious about the advice my future self will give to me now. That's what I'm really curious. Putting myself in my future self's shoes. What am I missing right now that I'll know in the future? I think that's something I'm very curious about. So thank you, Maryam, for that question. Now, back to Mehya's questions. You can follow her on Instagram at indefinitely creative scientist. Again, her and her sister and brother, Mubashir, I'm so happy that I met them. And they're doing fantastic work, and it's people like this where you really get excited and hopeful about the future of humanity. So, on to the questions. Okay, this is a good one. Question 1 that Mehya asks is, when was the last time you painted, and what did you paint? Mehya, I've seen videos of you painting. You're really good, very talented. I paint geometric shapes and in the primary colors. That's how I haven't painted since, I would guess, 2018, 2019, around then. I used to really enjoy it. I would there were times too where I would go to the Art Institute and then come right back home and then just start painting. And I would have a bottle of Talisker Storm Scotch. And I used to have these wireless headphones that just sounded so good, and you could Bluetooth them. So it was really cool. And then I would just paint. I haven't done that in such a long time. in 2019, so I had these paintings. I would paint in the primary colors, and I think this was a point in my life where I felt really dark and just uncertain and not complacent, but I wanted more out of life. And I think I used the primary colors because they gave me hope and inspiration and invigoration, energy. And I guess long story short, I would make digital art, not physical art, recently. It was a car. It was a car. Let's go back to this question. Question 1 that Mehya asks is, this is a good one. When was the last time you painted, and what did you paint? The last time I painted was probably 2018, 2019. I used to paint quite a bit. It's a fun activity, and I know you do it. I've seen videos of you. You're very talented. I paint like geometric shapes, just kind of designs. For me, it's just like a way to kind of express myself. And I would use the primary colors, because I think during this time when I was painting, I painted probably since like 2012, 2013 on, just like every now and then. It's a different activity for your mind, certainly. Sometimes I'll go to the Art Institute of Chicago and then come right back and just like paint. And, at night would have like, I used to have like this bottle of like Talisker Storm Scotch and some wireless headphones that would Bluetooth, and they sounded fantastic. And I would just paint and sip on some scotch. I enjoyed that. And then, so I would have all these paintings, and going to the Art Institute since like 2018, I became a member, and I would just go like almost every week. And when I go to the Art Institute, I feel like really competitive. Like I'm really competitive at the Art Institute, especially in the contemporary wing. So I go through and I see the paintings and the art that people make, and I'm like, well, I can do that. So then I was like, okay, so how am I going to do that? And I would go in the gift store, the museum store, and I would see these books, right? And the books have prints in them. And I was like, that's how I'm going to do it. Because I was coming off, I wrote my first book. I had pretty much written my second book, and we were working on the illustrations. So the third book was actually an art book. And I was like, digital art. So I'm going to create digital art and then print them in there. So it'll be like my art or interpretation or expression, and just put it in a book and have like philosophical sayings with it, or like life lessons. And so I started working with somebody who I knew how to use the program Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator. And we would meet up like once a week at a coffee shop, and I would basically bring to him like drawings that I wanted him to create in this program. And I really enjoyed it, but it was like, it's not enough for me. Like, I didn't want to wait 1 week to like make a few. And the few that we made when we would meet up were good, but they also like weren't, there's something off about it in a way. So I kind of grew impatient. I just started teaching myself Adobe Illustrator, and then just made digital art using the primary colors. It kind of representative, like a digital form of the paintings that I would make with the primary colors. And that's how Primary Ponderings came to be. And that was such a fun time of my life. Just like at night and listening to music and just making digital art, and that was so much fun. I haven't really made as much digital art since. What I've noticed about myself is that I'll grow through kind of spurts, right? Like, I was super into making digital art then, and then I've been like super into the podcast, and now I'm getting back into writing again and writing fiction. So it seems like I kind of go through different phases in a way, but what I'm kind of focused on now is like continually keep up all those different things, right? So while we're writing the book, still keep the podcast going and like not miss a beat. So to answer your question, that was the last time I painted. Question 2. Maya asks, what is your favorite color and why? So this last question, we just talked about the primary colors, right? If you've noticed, we did have this question before by Olive Moya. She's a visual artist, muralist from Denver, Colorado. I dress in certain colors, like 4 colors. So you got gray, brown, navy blue, and dark red. And those are the colors I wear. It simplifies my decision making. In the morning, it's like variations of those colors. It's because I saw this painting by Wanda Pimentel, Brazilian artist from the 1960s. This painting, I think called like Entitled, at the Art Institute. And I was like, I'm going to dress like those colors. So it simplified my life. So you could say that those are my favorite colors because I really won't wear anything other than those colors. It would be very, very rare to see me in different colors. So probably navy blue, dark red, gray, and brown. My favorite colors. Number 3. Ooh, this is a heavy one. Maya asks, what is your dream? That's a big question, isn't it? What is your dream? I think we all have dreams. My dreams can hardly be contained in a podcast episode in this format. I have big dreams. Dream big, as they say. My dream is to help people navigate this bridge, this time in humanity that we're experiencing right now. We're experiencing this renaissance with the information revolution. And it's completely changed, the trajectory of humankind. But a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of change, and they're afraid of being left behind or not feeling adequate or capable of taking on this like such a rapid change, right? Because the world is changing at such a fast rate. People are in fear. And so what my dream is to help bridge this time in humanity and be a vehicle of love during this, to show people we don't have to be afraid, but in fact, we can help the most amount of people realize their own dreams by using these tools and these ideas intentionally and effectively. I think that is my dream. And I'm a big fan of this book, Generations, by Neil Howe and William Strauss. And it's a history book it's a American history book based on generations. So if you look at making an impact in the world, you know, people often, first thing they think about is like race, religion, economic class, social class, all those things. But to me, like, those are all very small. Really, if you really want to make a difference in the world, it's about generation, because you have these shared experiences as a whole. Political party is another one, right? We're looking at these very, like, less significant groupings to make a difference and create the future and vision that we want. It needs to be generation. And when you look at this crossing into this digital revolution, we have a generation, millennials, being digital natives and experiencing their youth during this time. Culture is driven by youth, and so millennials were the first generation to really experience this digital world, and it aligns exactly with history and what has happened in the past. So millennials are considered like a civic generation. You have this large population born in a certain window, and theoretically how this is supposed to play out, and how I see when we're talking about dreams, is just finding my role within the execution of what is already kind of in place, right? So the nation undergoes, during a time of crisis, the nation undergoes like this transformation or this revolution, and the civic generation is the generation to provide the leadership of where the country needs to go moving forward, as far as institutions and infrastructure. Now what we're seeing is the internet presents this, it disrupts everything, right? So my dream is to help Americans, help the world navigate this new world in a stable way where we update institutions and organizations to take initiative of the potential and the capabilities we have in a positive way that elevates everybody. I think it's very possible. It takes a lot of work, and that's kind of the overall dream, is to be this vehicle of love during this time, and to help us transition into really like this new world that humanity is experiencing, and technology isn't slowing down. So it's like, how do we hold the hands of other people and guide them and lead them in a way where they don't feel left behind, or feel like they are not loved in a way, right? So that's question 3. What is your dream? Question 4. Mehya asks, which topics spark your curiosity? Which topics spark your curiosity? Physics? Physics right now? I don't know. The things that are happening with my life. So this is probably like over the last 6 months, I would say. I'm just looking for like a scientific explanation of the things I'm experiencing in life. And I have found that a lot of those answers are in physics, which is one of the reasons why I like talk to you in a way. Mehya and your siblings is like, I'm very curious about the laws of nature and how the universe is comprised, because I'm a part of the universe. So if I better understand the universe, I can better understand myself in a way. So that's probably what I'm curious about recently. I'm also very curious this summer. People that have been following the podcast know I'm very focused on organization and systems and processes. So I'm very curious about like how scientists go about like hypothesizing and testing and measuring and then recalibrating. I'm very interested in that right now. So question number 5. This is question number 5 from Mehya Mansoor. Thanks again for providing these questions. These are really good ones. You're a very deep person. You're a very impressive individual. I'm grateful to know you and your siblings and have you guys on. We've got to have you guys on again pretty soon. That was fun. Maya asks, question number 5, do you work more innovatively in a group or individually? This is a great question. I like working on a team. I really do. I love working towards a shared goal and playing a role in that. I love doing that. What I have found probably over the last years, though, is that I work by myself a lot. And because you don't have to depend on other people. You just like do your thing. And a lot of times, like being honest, like I can kind of be intense at times. And we just talked about our dreams, right? Like you got to go, you got to be disciplined, you got to, go after it. And sometimes like not being around people that are as self-motivated or as curious or willing to learn or let their egos get in the way, like it's kind of like fine, then I'll just kind of go off on my own. But I know that in order to make a certain type of impact, you have to be able to communicate and work with other people, work as a team. So that's what I'm excited about, is taking innovation from individual experiences and finding other self-motivated, like-minded, ambitious, and thoughtful, caring, fantastic people. I think that's kind of the next chapter in my life. It's felt like the last 4 years have been training in a way, of just like working on my habits, working on improving myself, pursuing my curiosity, just learning all these new skills. And now it's kind of like, all right, now let's do a bunch of stuff, right? I think that's kind of the next chapter in this journey of mine. I'm excited. I was thinking too, I was telling a friend this the other day, I have no idea what my future looks like. Whereas I think a lot of people in certain positions or jobs, like they know the outlook of their careers or their jobs. Their job isn't going to change much over the next year or 2 years or whatever it may be. I don't know where I'm going to be in 6 months. And I was telling him that like I'm in like new territory that I've never been here before. So I'm navigating it on the fly. And you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fail, but those are all just learning opportunities. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the future, certainly the near future, long-term future. Yeah, we're out here just living life. In the meantime, enjoying the process, right? I think that's where I have to improve more. It's just joy. Just make sure you're experiencing joy in all that you do, and have fun, and just love the people you're around and doing all these things with, and just the world around you, right? It's fantastic. You take the time, which I do, maybe a little too much, to just enjoy life around you. It's fantastic. So thank you so much for these questions today. This has been very introspective, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do this and to answer these fantastic questions that you provided. So thank you for listening and watching this edition of Rich Answers, and thanks for following Rich Conversations. Keep pursuing your curiosity and have a wonderful day.